So, the Philadelphia Eagles needed speed, huh? I think we might have found a speed receiver or two this year. Today, let's talk about Quez Watkins because I tried to tell people when I rolled film of this kid, and I said this way back in April before we drafted him, I thought the kid had a little Terry McLaurin in him. He's one of these guys that if you get this kid the ball in space, good God, watch out because this kid has feet. All right, y'all. Let's get it. What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on in NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching us. Once again, guys, my name is Steven Hyder, and this is Gate City Sports Channel. All right, y'all, today's topic. Look, guys, we're going to talk about Quez Watkins. A lot of discussion back and forth with everybody. Some people feeling that John Hightower, is John Hightower better? Is Quez Watkins better? Man, I told you guys a million times what my perspective was on it. I thought John Hightower ran a more, complete NFL route tree when compared to Quez Watkins. But I told you, the route tree in which Quez Watkins was running, and you might say that, hey, man, he's got a lot to learn in terms of route running because he just hasn't run that diverse of a tree. But I told you, his route running was pretty precise when you looked at it from just what he's running, okay? Don't prospect what he can or can't do in terms of the other routes. Just the routes I was seeing him run, he was gaining a lot of separation because this kid has agility that most players don't have. It's not just speed. It's that change of direction. It's that cut on the dime. He does things that just leave other players in the dust. And as a matter of fact, I know you saw the video by now. I sure saw the video by now. Let's not get too overhyped about it because let's keep in mind, during these drills right now, the defensive backs actually cannot put their hands on the receivers yet. And that's going to change things a little bit once we can do that. But you can't deny the athleticism here. You can't deny that, Rasul Douglas was overmatched with athleticism here. It was ugly. We all saw that Quez Watkins touchdown against Rasul Douglas. I mean, Rasul Douglas was barely even in the camera view. It's... Okay, the first thing to look at here is the bottom of Quez Watkins' shoe to the top of his helmet. You can see that this is a speed release, guys. This is nothing more than a speed release by looking at the angle that is formed. The camera angle on this, guys, is just ridiculous. I don't know what exactly he hit him with off the line of scrimmage, but he hit him with some kind of a delayed step or an outside to inside release. But I want you to watch how far off balance is going to send Rasul Douglas. And Rasul Douglas is expecting to guard like a corner route. But I'm going to let you see that in real time. Rasul Douglas's hips, look at the way his body's turned. He's fully expecting this to be turned back, towards that corner instead of going more towards like almost a, kind of a skinny post kind of route. He got fooled here, guys. I mean, he definitely was fooled on this play. It's hard, man. It's really hard to cover a guy like Quez Watkins, guys. This kid has a gear that most players just don't have. If you've never played a kid that's just this naturally athletic and this gifted, there's just not a lot you can do without having safety help on someone like Quez Watkins. Quez Watkins, he might be a bit of a limited route tree guy, but I got to tell you, when he touches the field, guys, he's going to be dynamic because that speed that cannot be taught, guys. You cannot teach that. That is just pure athleticism on display. And I got to be honest with you, on things like, post routes, corner routes, and then those double moves where you're selling like, post corner, corner post. Even on things like comeback and hitches and stuff like that, as we work with his game a little more, and he gets in there with a guy that he's idolized like Deshaun Jackson, who can teach him how to sink those hips and really get those hips down nice and good so that way you can turn and use that agility to separate from a defensive back and easily gain 7 to 10 yards. Guys, he's going to be unstoppable. Don't even get me started on, deep hitches and crosses and then just a slant route, what this kid could do at a slant route. I'm telling you, this was a heck of a signing. I make no predictions on who will or won't make the roster yet. I've got to get a feel for the coaching staff first. I can tell you that from just a little bit I've seen, and this is a very small sample size, No way I would leave this kid off the roster. Personally, I wouldn't do it personally. This kid has way too much talent. And this is the crazy thing, is just the overall speed in this room, okay? Because I don't know if you guys got the memo, and I'm going to do a video on this later. Maybe not today, but in a couple days. But Adrian Killins has also been playing as a wide receiver. Doug's been working him out as a wide receiver too. So now you got Killins, you got Watkins, you got Rager, you got Hightower, and you got Manasseh Bailey, all adding that speed element to this football team with Deshaun Jackson. This team has enough speed for days. And it's not just the fact that these young kids are out there giving meaningful reps at wide receiver, because that's going to help, guys. Being able to stretch this field with, 4 to 5 different players certainly is going to help you. But it's not just about that. It's the fact that you got Rager returning punts, right? Returning kickoffs. Quez Watkins was returning kickoffs. I'll run a clip for you.
Against 2 defense. 2 offense against 1 defense. And then 3's.
All right, guys. You can see Quez Watkins fielding the kickoff here. He's got a lot to learn still, but, look, this kid's got the speed, and the coaches understand that, and they see that in this young man.
Versus 3's. Without those extra players, it's really hard to get 3's on 3's.
Yeah.
So, look, these young kids are making contributions in many ways. And that's good to see, guys, because as you look at young guys, they're going to have to contribute on special teams somehow to make the football team. Now, look, I don't know that Quez Watkins is going to be your supposed kick returner, because let me remind you, and I have a video coming up, like I said, Adrian Killins was returning kickoffs, okay? You got Corey Clement, who has experience returning kickoffs. Like, we got guys back there that have done it. But I think one of the smartest things the Eagles did was they brought in Darren Sproles to work with special teams unit. So he's been working with these guys on punt returns and stuff, which I thought was just also with the running back room he's been helping. But, special teams production is huge. And if you didn't catch my drift from my last video, I think it's one of the things we failed at last season. Horribly bad. We were horribly bad at it. Now, looking at it from the young kids' perspective, like Quez Watkins and them, I just think Quez Watkins is a guy that makes a lot of sense as a deep roster guy, because he's not going to need that many touches in a football game to impact you. He can impact you with 10 touches in a game. I don't mean touches as in him touching the ball, but 10 snaps. Just say that, in a game. He can impact a football game that way. You get him out there returning kicks. He can impact a football game that way. This kid is athletic, man. You let this kid get into his second gear, good luck catching him, because there's not a whole lot of guys that kind of have that over-the-top, crazy second gear speed that Quez Watkins has. And that's what stood out to me when I watched the film of the kid, and that's what I'm seeing here in camp. And it's nice to see when these things start to translate between camp and what you saw on film, right? What you see in games, what you see on films. Because it sucks if you see one thing like on the combine testing, and then you go look at the film and it doesn't show. Then you're kind of like, well, crap, man. Like, the overall athleticism is there, but this is going to be a major development because it's not being shown on film. With Quez Watkins, I thought it showed on film. Yes, guys, I'm going to tell you straightforward. As a guy that coaches receivers, things like that, am I a little concerned with him? He's got to work on some of he's got to get some variance in his route tree, okay? He needs to get a more complete route tree. With that said, man, this is an elite, special kind of talent that's really hard to find in today's game, guys. Me, personally, I would roll with this kid. I would roll with this kid as long as I could if I was the Philadelphia Eagles, because the kid's kind of got a special ability and a special talent. And we're starting to see these young kids produce, man. John Hightower up there making contested catches that came out. You got, Dallas Goedert making one-hand catches in the end zone. We got Quez Watkins burning people by 30 yards. You got Djax out there looking healthy. Rager is snatching things that seemed impossible to bring down. I don't know if you guys had a chance to hear Carson Wentz talk about Rager, but he's like, man, this kid, you could throw anything his way. This kid will go up and get stuff you think there's no chance this kid's going to come down with a football on. That's what I saw from Rager on film, too, is why I was so high on him. I'm excited with this young core, guys. This might not have been in the core that a lot of people envisioned when they saw all the names from this past year's draft, but I told you guys I was a big fan of Rager. I told you guys I was a big fan of Quez Watkins. And I told you guys one of my biggest regrets from all the film study I did was I looked at John Hightower. I liked what I saw on film from John Hightower, but because of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, I just didn't think that the Eagles would lean in that direction, so I didn't cover him, even though I was kind of a fan of him. And now I'm kind of like, damn, I should have actually covered him. I should have put a video out and broke down everything before we drafted him, because I had to do that one as an after reaction instead of a before reaction, which I think it's more authentic when you do it before the team has drafted a player, because then you're getting someone's honest opinions and thoughts on the player. But all right, guys, these are my thoughts. I want to know, what do you think? Leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think about, what do you think about Quez Watkins, guy? I mean, whew, man. Kid got feet, bro. He's fast. All right, y'all. You know how we end these videos. We do a little E-A-G-L-E-S. All right, y'all. Let's go, Eagles.